Good morning, survivors, and happy Monday. Today we're going to talk about how a narcissist is like a drug to you and how you can deal with the feelings that you're addicted to him or her. So let's get started. So, a lot of times when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you begin by thinking, gosh, this is my soulmate. This person's exactly like me. Where has he been all my life? La, 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 la. But what ends up happening is, as you know, you become disillusioned and you start to wonder, God, is something really that wrong with me that I can't even get along with this person? And you start to think, I'm doing everything right and this person's still complaining. How am I doing? Anyway, you begin to become less and less satisfied in the relationship, right? So why does it happen? And what does it all mean? Well, I think we already know, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Here we go. So the important thing that we need to learn is, how do we not get sucked back into this relationship, right? So the first thing you need to remember is that when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you almost become addicted to them in the same way that people get like Stockholm syndrome, but even more intensely than that. It's almost like a drug to you, because there's a lot of science behind this, but there's been research that proves that you can literally become addicted to love, so to speak, and in the case of narcissists, obviously this becomes a very unhealthy addiction. So you have to treat it as such. So if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you feel yourself, or you were in a relationship with a narcissist and you feel yourself getting sucked back in, then you need to take note and recognize, this is just like an addiction. This is just like if I were addicted to alcohol or drugs. And so what can you do to deal with that? We can get support from other people who are going through it. That can help you to stay no contact, to get up the courage to go no contact if you're still miserable in the relationship today. Okay, so one way you can do that is join my span group on Facebook, which is you can learn more about it at queenbee.com/span, and that'll take you to it. All right. Oh wait, you don't believe me about the addiction thing? Well, look, studies have shown that neurochemically speaking, when someone is shown a photograph of someone that they have been in love with or that they are in love with, the same parts of their brain light up that happen when a person who is addicted to cocaine is craving cocaine. It's literally just like a drug to your body and your brain. But the interesting thing is that even healthy love can become an addiction. And it almost has to, I guess, for us to stay going as a species, right? But so how do you, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that in healthy love, you have mutual benefits. You both are supported, you both are loved, you both are connected to each other, and you both are equally loved in the relationship and respected in the relationship. Whereas if you're with a narcissist, it's very quickly all about the narcissist. Of course, in contrast to healthy love, addictive love feels terrible, and you both of you and the narcissist will spend the entire time chasing the highs of the relationship. And so when you don't get it, you might settle in and be comfortable, because that's what people do in healthy relationships. But your narcissist won't. As a matter of fact, your narcissist will do anything he or she can to stir up the drama and the crap in the relationship, because essentially they get bored. They're always looking for that new relationship feeling, and that's why you go through the devalue, discard phases, and then you swing back around to the idealization phase in a lot of cases. But how do you resist those feelings of going back to that you want to go back to the narcissist? How do you resist feeling like you want to go back to the narcissist when, say, a week after no contact, you get that urge, oh mom, maybe I really should call him, maybe I really do love him or her, maybe they didn't mean it, la 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 la. Well, that's when you have to go, okay, those chemicals in my brain are acting crazy again, so I have to stay focused on what I'm doing here and move forward. And like I said, you have to treat it like an addiction, and you have to realize that those urges you're getting to call that person who will inevitably come back into your life and hurt you, those are urges that are unhealthy for you. And so if you can recognize that and start to focus on what you can control and what you want to make better in your life, which is most likely you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's emotionally or physically abusing you, well, here you go. It's a drug. It's just like a drug addiction. Okay, so you have to treat it like one. For being honest with yourself, a lot of times, those of us who find ourselves involved with narcissists and being addicted to them, we came from homes where we were treated differently than some people, whether we were emotionally abused or just neglected or physically abused or whatever. We came up knowing that we weren't good enough and thinking that we weren't good enough. And so because of that, when we meet someone like a narcissist, a lot of times what happens is that there's this little thing inside of our heads that goes, well, this person really loves me, this is different, this is my soulmate. And so when they begin the standard, devalue phase, and they begin to move toward the discard phase, we find ourselves desperately trying to change and become what they really want. And you can't become what they really want unless you're not a person, because what a narcissist really wants is someone who's amazing and fabulous, but not more fabulous than them, just enough that they can show them off on their arm really well. And then they want someone they can kind of put in the closet when they're not trying to hang out with them, when they don't want them. Ideally, if you were a narcissist ideal mate, you would hide in the closet until they were ready to play with you again, like a good toy. And it's terrible to say that, but it's the truth. If you really think about it, your narcissist would prefer that you have nothing outside of him or her. When they're not around, they would prefer that you don't exist. When they want you, they'd like to pull you out of the closet and use you and put you right back in when they're done. It's terrible, but it's true. How do you get through it? Well, first you realize that love is patient, love is kind, all that stuff. But seriously, you realize that you don't need to be with someone to be happy. You have to begin by recognizing that you yourself are whole. A lot of times, we've grown up with these images of love in the movies, love on TV, and we think it's supposed to be a certain way. I have repeatedly said over and over again, Hollywood lied to me. That's not how love works. And so even in a healthy relationship, it doesn't work like Hollywood all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's an ongoing process. But when you begin to realize that, first of all, I am whole by myself, and you begin to dig into that, and then you begin to realize that you are in a different space than you were before, because now here you are in this relationship that is miserable, and you want to know how to be healthy again. But then there's this part of you that doesn't like the idea of being alone, and our ultimate fear as humans is the fear of abandonment. So the narcissist plays on that as much as possible, and that's why we have to begin to move away from that and start to focus on self-healing, self-love, things like that. Ultimately, you have to realize that you can't expect life to be like those movies. Ultimately, you have to realize that you can be happy without anyone. And I'm going to be really straight up with you. Until I learned that, I couldn't move forward. I had to learn to be happy by myself. I had to learn that I didn't need anyone else before I could actually get to the place where I didn't need anyone else. And then when I learned that, well, then I eventually met my husband. So it's a process. You have to get to the place where you're fine with being by yourself. And it's hard, but it can be done, and you can actually enjoy it a lot more than being with someone who's miserable and makes your life a living hell, my friend. So, yeah. I would like to know, what do you think about all of this? Have you been in a situation where you felt addicted to a narcissist? Do you think you're addicted now? And how can I help you get through this? What can I do for you? What can I offer you? Do you have questions, comments, concerns, things I can specifically help with? Do you have tips to share with your fellow survivors in my comments below? I would appreciate that, because you never know who you can help. All right, I'm going to close up for now, but I'll be back I can't even talk today. I'll be back later today, as usual, with another video. And as always, thanks for letting me be a part of your life today and a part of your recovery. See you soon.